Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I did anything, and I hope you can hear me. It's been a while since I did anything, so I figured I'd do something here really quick. What I'm doing, I'm carving signs for our chiefs and fire department, and I've done a couple already, and just to test my hands, so I'm going to show you exactly how I did them. This should be fairly easy. It's so essentially what we're doing here is you're taking, you print out the way you want your letters to look, okay? Piece of paper, and then this is carbon paper right underneath. Typical everywhere carbon paper. I got mine from Staples, I think. Put the carbon paper on, and you could choose any kind of wood you want. I'm using 5 1/4 board. This is your typical board from a deck handrail, and it seems to be okay. The method I'm going to use, a lot of people have probably heard about it. It's called Shou-sugi-ban, I think. Don't get me wrong if I mispronounce that, but it's where you burn the wood and then stain it to get the color that you want. I'm not going to stain this. I'm going to leave it because I like it. I like the way it burns. It has a nice rich color. So right now I am tracing the letters onto the wood, and what I have here is these guides are going to help me when I route, so that I keep my router inside the letters, my router blade inside the letters, and I don't go overboard. The bit is inside the blade already. I was going to show it to you, and it doesn't go overboard. I don't go beyond it, and that way all my letters are running straight and parallel to each other. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish tracing these, and we'll go on to the next step. Gotta put on my eyeballs. Of course, at this point, we're going to fast forward because you don't need to see all this. Okay, so one of the things you want to do, I made this mistake before. I pulled off the paper and the Xerox and the carbon, not knowing that I had missed a letter, and it was really annoying to try to get the paper back lined up. And when I was doing it, the letter was coming out all upside down and backwards, and wasn't fitting correctly. So make sure that all your letters are traced over. So what I do is, I know I used a pencil basically, and I'm just going to look at it, because you could see if you missed a spot. Like right here, I could see I missed a spot, so I go back over like that, and you can see the dark outline of the pencil, and it'll show you where you missed, and then you can just go back and then double check your work, because you don't want to put this back down or take this all off and make sure find out you missed a letter, or you missed doing the inside of a letter. Alright, so it looks like we have everything here. Alright, let's pull this off and see what we got. Alright, looks good. Like I'm opening up a Christmas gift. And there you go. Okay, so you can see how all your letters are lined up. Everything is spaced properly. And then when you carve, all your carving is going to come out correctly. So, alright, next, let's go on to carve this. We'll be right back too. I'm going to set everything up, and then we'll come right back. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with the carving. Now I know a couple of you are going to be wondering what bit I'm using, what router I'm using, and everything else. So the router I'm using is Drill Master from Harbor Freight. It's probably one of the cheapest trim routers you can probably buy. They're priced so good that you could probably get 2 of them, have 2 different bits to do different jobs. I don't have 2 of them. I'm going to probably get another one. The base and I went ahead of myself. I showed you what I did. But the base, I got this base from makeawoodsign.com. You could probably see right there. Okay, they sell bases for almost every kind of trim router or regular heavy-duty router that you have. I found them online at makeawoodsign.com. I did a Google search, and I bought this base from them. I also bought the bit that I'm going to use, which is, you can see it right there. This is the 90-degree bit. So I've used it before, and it works really well. Having a problem. Actually, I did it a couple days ago. This is my first time using this bit, though, so I think I kind of like it. It works well. I use it on another sign. I'm not going to show you that yet, but I used it on another sign, and it came out fairly well. So let's go ahead and do some carving. Put on my eyeballs here, and we'll see how it looks. Now, you have to adjust the depth of these things, so let's go over to the other camera. So you want to make sure that you're not cutting too much first. So if you can see, I don't have a lot exposed of the bit right there. And what you could do is you can get it to the edge right here, see how deep it is first, and then do an initial cut on your letter. And if you don't like that, then you can go ahead and either go more shallow or more deeper, depending on how you want. But let's go ahead and see how this first cut looks. And first of all, let's plug in our router. All right, we got juice. All right, take two. Now, I can tell you right now, that needs to be a little deeper. So we're going to go ahead and shallow out our bit. And how we do that is we loosen the left over here, and then the collar opens up, and you can go ahead and sink your bit just a little hair and then tighten it back up. This is a really nice base, by the way. I've used it on several of the projects, and I've had a lot of success, so I'm probably going to be number one, shout out to Dave and Eric Roden for putting out great videos at makeawoodsign.com. I am not in any way getting royalties for this, but you know, I'm using their equipment, so I should give them a little bit of a shout out. So I can tell you right now, I think that is an exceptional depth right there. So a steady hand, nice sharp drill bit or router bit, and patience, and you can go very far in your projects. So let's finish this up. Okay, everybody, we're back. So like I said, adjust the depth to a very shallow one first before do a test cut, and then if you have to go a little bit more, give it a little bit more. That way you're not taking out too much. Also, I want to point out something here. You don't have to do your initial cut all the way straight to your line. So you can see right here where I sort of made a bit of a mistake. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So I sort of made a bit of a mistake, and I went a little too far into the cut. What you want to do is you want to try, it's called a technique called sneaking up to the line. So right here I did it. I am not a pro. In no way am I saying that I'm a pro. I'm a do-it-yourselfer, but the little technique called sneaking up to the line. So do a couple of shallow cuts first, and then you want to get right up to the line because you get all the material out, and then you get right into the line as close as you can. Don't do it initially. You can see right here I just had a little bump out, so I got to get that little, I got to straighten that up. But right now looking like we're tracking, so let's keep going and see how it looks in the finished product. So far, so good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. I'm going to finish up the rest of the bottom, then flip it over and get this top done, and we'll come right back. All right, stand by. And we're all done. Okay, so here we go, finished product. Now what we got to do is, what I like to do is I measure in about I measure in about 3/4 to the edge here and 3/4 here, and I do that to all 4 corners. It's about 3/4 and 3/4, and then I take it over to my press, my drill press, and I take these corners off, and then we route them. So from there, or from here, let's go over there. All right, welcome back. I went ahead and laid out for the 3/4. I don't know if you can see it. I hope you can. I did all 4 corners, and what I have here is essentially a 2.5 inch hole drill bit, and I put on the press, and all I do basically is you line this up, have a scrap wood under here, you line this up with the teeth, and then when you bring this down, those teeth are just going to line up right to the edge of your pencil marks, and right there you can see that's what's going to make my little cove cut, if you want to call it that. So I do that to all 4 corners. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can see, nice clean cut. Goes a little over the lines, but for the most part, they all end up matching up. And there's all your cuts. Let's take this over here to the light. As you can see there, pretty much lined up. Alright, so let's set up the router with the cove bit that I'm going to use to make the cove cut all the way across and around. Alright, we'll come back. Okay, I fit the cove bit on, and I went ahead and set it to just about half of the cutting depth of the actual bit itself to the table right here to the gauge. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this now. I'm gonna do a little test cut, see how it looks. If I don't like it, I'll probably make it deeper, but let's do a test cut. You gotta put on your ears, this thing is loud. that's not going to work. Obviously you could see the dogs were stopping my cut. I couldn't go all the way, so I'm going to have to improvise here a little bit. So I'll just bring this over here. Let that hang over there on the edge, and then I can go ahead and make these cuts and then flip it over and do the rest of the cuts. Gears back on. Oh, you saw that. That is not going to work. The piece tipped on me. So I'm going to have to lay this all the way into the vise, make the cut. And hopefully that will not tip out on me again. Let's see if it doesn't. Well, that worked. Let's do the other side. And that did it. Alright, next thing we're going to do is go ahead and sand this all off and spray paint it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get ready to sand this. Now there's not too much to sand off because I did a prior sand on this. So essentially all we're doing is we're taking off the pencil marks that we did and the outline, and then looking for any imperfections on the top of it. But right now I think everything is looking good. So let's go ahead and sand this down. Once again, I'm using a 220 sandpaper. Fine. We don't want to take anything off. and she's cleaned. I sanded the rest of the wood all the way around, so we didn't have to go ahead and do that now. So now we're gonna have fun, and we're gonna break out fire and burn it. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna paint the inside of this gold, and the letters are going to be white with the burn on the outside here. Probably not going to show you. I'll show you the result of one that I already did prior to this one. So right now I'm just going to show you the burning technique, and then the taping and the painting of the gold edge. The painting of the letters is just simply, dabbing in an acrylic or an epoxy paint in there, or any kind of household exterior paint. This is probably going to be inside, so you can use an acrylic interior paint and just basically fill in the letters and paint it white. You don't really have to see that. So let's go ahead and let's do some burning. So what I'm using here, Burns-O-Matic torch, just a standard everyday torch, and I would recommend not going an initial heavy burn first. What's going to happen is you'll char the wood. You want it, like I said before, with the technique of cutting up to the line, sneaking up to it. You want to sneak up to the color you want. So we'll do a quick light burn. I'm going to go heavy on the edges because the edges are the edges. But on the face, I don't want to go too heavy. So let's do that. Alright, like I told you, I was going to go heavy on the edges. I did. Got a little char in there, but that's fine. It adds character. A little bit of burn on the end there, and some on the end. If you look at the face, almost dropped it. If you look at the face is still kind of light. A little heavy here, so I think I want to try to get this color across the entire spectrum right there, across the entire face. So I'm going to try to do that without actually setting it on fire. Once again, be advised, use safety. This is, I know you can see it. It's a paint can. It's empty, it's clean, and just, be cognizant of the areas that you're using a blowtorch in, and, use common sense. And there we go. I think I kind of like that. So now with this, we can go ahead and either give it a quick sanding if you want, or you can leave it the way it is. So I'm going to go ahead and show you, because I think I have a storm coming in on me, and I'm in my garage. So I'm going to show you the end product of this. Alright, and this is ultimately what it's going to look like. Burned face, white letters, gold trim on the edge, all the way around, and then hit with a crystal clear finish. So this is what you're looking at. There's a lot of taping that you can do. I tape off the edges, I hit it with spray paint, then I tape off the front, and then I paint it. And then after all the painting is done, quick seal. And once again, the letters are done after the fact. What I found out was when you do white paint in here and then hit it with the fire, the white letters turned yellow, and that was not looking good, so you have to do it by hand. It's a bit tedious, but this is the end result of what you're looking at. So not my best video, but I hope you had fun. I hope you got a few tips and ideas on how to make your own little wood signs. And hit like, subscribe if you want to. If you don't, thanks for watching anyway. Have a great time. Have a good day.